Hello and welcome to another fun fact learning episode. My name is Chinoso Lekwa, and in today's lesson we're going to be talking about factoring quadratic equation. In one of our previous videos we explained the various forms of expressing a quadratic equation, where we outlined the standard form, the vertex form, and then the factored form. So in today's video and this particular video, I will be explaining how to factor a standard form equation. That is, in other words, convert from a standard form to a factored form quadratic equation. So to do that, I will be using the example x squared plus 3x plus say 2 is equal to 0. So this is a quadratic equation, and we want to factor this equation and consequently get the solution or the zeros of this equation. So this particular one can be factored. So we can use factorization. We can use the factoring method to solve this. So in using the factoring method, you want to look for two numbers such that the product of those two numbers gives you the constant. That's C if you're using general formula equation. And then you want to say, when you add those two numbers, it gives you the B term. So that in this case 3. So we're looking for two numbers such that when we multiply those numbers, it gives us 2. And then when we add those numbers, it gives us 3. So what are the factors of 2? The factors of 2 are just 2 and 1. And of course, we could also have a -2, -1, because when you multiply -2 by -1, it gives you a +2. But again, when you add -1 and -2, it will give you 3. So the factors that are of interest for us here for this particular question would be 2 and 1. So to solve this, you just have two brackets, open and close brackets like this. Then your x, supply your x here, supply your x here. Then you determine what are those two numbers that you found to be the factors of 2, such that when you multiply them, you get 2, and then you add, you get 3. We said those numbers are 2 and 1, +2 and 1. So we go on to say +2, +1. So what we've done is we've essentially factored this standard form quadratic equation. So the next thing to do is to use the zero products property rule. So once any two numbers or any two factors or terms are multiplied to give you 0, by reasoning we can say it's either one of those numbers is equal to 0 or the both of them are 0. It is based upon that premise that we say if x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 1 is equal to 0, it is either x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0, using the zero product property rule. So when we go on to say x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0, then we can subtract 2 from both sides, and then we'll get x is equal to -2 or x. So subtract again from this side, subtract -1, subtract 1 from both sides. So we get x equal to -1. So we've used factoring method to solve this quadratic equation. So this quadratic equation, so expressed as x squared plus 3x plus 2 equal to 0, has the solution of x equal to -2 or x equal to -1. And then this is the factored form. So the factored form shows us as constants the zeros, but in the nutshell, it gives us the opposite of the sign. For example, the factors here are +2 and +1, but you can see that the solutions are -2 and -1. So once you have the zeros of any quadratic equation, you can get the factored expression or equation by using the opposite of the magnitude. If it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. So this is the procedure, and this is particularly useful when you can factor the equation. For some expressions, you may not be able to factor them readily. So you might do what we call grouping. And in our next video, I'll be explaining how to perform factoring by grouping. But for now, I would say bye and thank you.